Hey guys, and welcome back to another simple calculator tutorial. This is part 2, hopefully part 2 out of 2. I may do part 3 with how to add input with your keyboard. If you guys want to do that, or if you guys want to see that, let me know in the description, the comment section. Obviously the more comments I get related to that, I'll show you guys how to do it. So pretty simple to understand. Anyways, let's get back to the tutorial, but before we do, just want to wish you guys Happy New Year and hope you guys had a Merry Christmas. And I was in Thailand and Indonesia for that whole period, so unfortunately I wasn't able to make any videos, but I'm back now. I just got back 2 days ago and I'm ready to make some videos for you guys. So the last time we left off, Daniel showed you how to make this calculator design. We got the clear all button, we got all these buttons with this nice hover over feature, and we got these button click events. Ignore the errors at the bottom. I did this tutorial before, but I had my microphone on mute, so I was talking to myself like an idiot, which I do most of the time anyways, but I'm even more of an idiot now. So I'm going to rush through this tutorial. Well, not really rush, but you guys know what I mean. So ignore those errors at the bottom. So this is what your guys' calculator does right now, nothing at all. Mine produces errors, so right now yours is more useful than mine, but not for long. So what we need to do is we need to add a display first of all. So let's add a JLabel. Stretch it out to the width of the screen, and then let's drag it above our background layer. Change the variable name to something like display. There we go. And now we can start editing parameters, stuff like the height, because the height is 48. I already know that because firstly I did the tutorial, and secondly I know how Netbeans works. Okay, so let's go into the foreground. I want to change the foreground to white, but before we do, I just want to teach you guys something quite handy. You can see that there is text in here. Well, I'm lying, you cannot see it because it's really dark right on the left hand side where my mouse is. It says JLabel 1. Now, what good is seeing JLabel 1? Because, I mean, let's be honest, our display is never going to show letters. It's only going to show numbers, and in fact, it's only going to show equations. So we're going to type in 5 plus 6 to get a good visual representation of how our display will look like when it's actually running. So now that we have that done, now we can start editing parameters. So let's look at the color white. Do we like white? Yes, we do. Does it look nice with the calculation? Does it match with the GUI? Yes, it does. Fantastic. We're gonna move the horizontal alignment to the right because most calculators work on the right. You guys can put it on the left wherever you feel like. That's obviously your guys' thing. So let's change the text to Arial. There's obviously a whole bunch of other text fonts that you guys can use. I just, how's Arial black? Is that, no, Arial looks, maybe Arial black will work. I mean, it's okay, but it doesn't match with the rest of the stuff. So let's go with Arial, size 36, and that looks much better. So that's how a calculator will look. It looks decent. I don't like how it's right against the edge, so I'm just going to move this over, and maybe on this side. Yeah, there we go. Now that looks much better. Now you can see how a calculator will look. And let's edit the text, remove that. There we go. Compile and bold, and all my errors are gone. Okay, so what's going to happen here now is that we have our display, okay? Our display is going to show our text. So the first thing we need to do is we need to add text into this box when you click a button. So let's start off with the button 0. If you guys look at my source code, you can see all the code's almost done anyways. So I'm just going to explain on one button, and you guys will copy and paste. You guys will understand it pretty easily. So when you click on this button 0, okay, you need to set the text to 0. And that's pretty simple. You guys, even the beginners, will understand how to do that. Except when you think about it more in detail, what happens if you have the number 9 already in this box, and you want to add a 0 to make it number 90? If you say this display.setText, or when you click on this, it sets the text to be 0, the number 9 is going to disappear, and then it's going to replace it with the number 0, which is not very good. What we want to do is we want to append these numbers. So when you click on 9, it appends it to this display, which is currently blank. When you click on 0, it'll append it to the display, which is containing the number 9. And that's how this is going to work. We're going to create a homemade append sort of function. So in order to do that, we need to first fetch the text out of here, add our text that we want to add onto it, which in this case is the number 0, and then display it back. And it'll happen so fast that it looks like it's all appending at once, which is fantastic. So if we right click on our 0 button, go down to events, mouse released, you guys can see our code, and it's pretty basic. So the first thing we want to do is we want to get the text out of this field, and let's just store it in a variable because it's much more convenient. So let's name our variable pre-val, okay, so for previous value, and the previous value is equal to the text that we get out of the display field, which to get out of the display field we say display.getText. I mean, that's a really nice function right there, okay? So at the moment we click on 0, we get the text out of there. It's stored in a variable called preval. Now what I said earlier is that we want to get the text out and then add on our text to that the same text that we just fetched out of there. So we simply have to say +0. So right, we just say plus and then the string 0. You don't want to start adding numbers because firstly you cannot do it since you are working with a string, and secondly because it's, you know, you're not trying to do a mathematical function. You just want to add on 0 to the end of it so it looks like it's the number 90 instead of the number 9, and then you replace it with 0 and then you start adding. I mean, it's just, you're just adding strings right here. This 0 is not a number, it's a string. That's basically what it means. Now guess what we've done? All you do is you say display.setText, display.setText, and then preval, okay? And that is our function. So if you guys want to be good coders, what you first need to do is you need to find your problem, right? That's number 1 on the list. Then secondly, you need to find a solution to the problem, and then, you know, you need to find multiple solutions and then choose the best one. So right now this is the best solution for me, I think. And what you want to do is you want to put everything in steps. So step 1 was to first get the text out of there. Step 2 was to add on what we needed to add on. Step 3 was to put it back in the display. So those are 3 steps, 1 to 3 in 2 lines of code. Fantastic. And then all you want to do is you want to copy that, and you want to do the same steps, exactly the same steps. You want to right click on this button to events, mouse released, and then paste it. And the only thing you want to change is the text that you add onto it. So instead of adding the number 0, you want to add the number 2 onto that. And then that's how you eventually get all these numbers going. You want to do the same thing for divide, multiply, minus, and addition. Keep in mind, the times button, you do not use the number or the letter X, you use the star. Okay, you use the star right there, because what we're going to do is we're going to extract the file, or not the file, we're going to extract the text right here and perform the calculation immediately. We're not going to do anything fancy. So keep in mind, if you use the letter X, it's going to mess up everything. So you have to use star, because in Java the star represents multiplication. So that's pretty simple. You want to do that for all the buttons, except for the equals button and the clear all button. For the clear all button, we're going to just basically clear everything. So we're going to go to events, mouse released, and in the clear all button we're going to simply say display, because that's what we want to clear, dot set text, and then we're going to set the text to be an empty string. So shift quotes, and then you get those double quotes, empty string. That's it. So now once you guys have finished copying and pasting all of this, you guys will see how nicely this actually works. You can see it looks really nicely. That makes no sense right there, but that's fine. You guys should have added a back button. We actually forgot to do that, but there's a clear all button, so I guess that's okay. And you guys can see the clear all button works just as well. So here's where it comes in, you know, that homemade append that we did. If we click on the number 3, if we didn't do that append code, what would happen is that 890 will be replaced by 3. But if you want 8903, click on 3 and there's your, you know, there's your number. It works really well. Now we want to do the equals button. Now everything relies on the equals button, because whatever you know, code is only executed once you click a certain button. Code's never executed all the time. I mean, you know, there's certain applications where it does, like your operating system, but for the calculator obviously not. I mean, if you click the 6 plus 5 on your calculator, nothing really happens. It doesn't perform any calculations, it just displays it on screen, which is what we've done here. Okay, so let's get, okay, there we go, finally I got into this. Okay, so now here's the main code. It's really quick. Let me show it to you guys. But before we do, I just want to delete these imports, because obviously I was just practicing some stuff right there. Well, I lie, I wasn't really practicing. I made the tutorial earlier and then I had my mute button on. So okay, so for this calculation, what you guys need to understand is that it's really ridiculous to get the text out of here, right? Like, let's say you have 9 times 6 plus 4. To get the text out of this, convert it into an actual number, because keep in mind, this is a string. You cannot do mathematical functions with the string. Convert it to a number, perform a mathematical function, and then display it back. That might actually be impossible. it is possible, but it'll take a lot of unnecessary code compared to the way that we're going to do it. So what's going to happen if you type in 9 times 6, right, in a string, that's perfectly fine. But if you try converting that to an actual floating point value or a double or an integer, it'll give you an error because you cannot convert a character such as the multiplication sign into a double or an integer. That just doesn't make any sense. So what we're going to be using is we're going to be using a JavaScript script. Now I know some of you don't know JavaScript. I don't know JavaScript either. It scares me just thinking about it. But in JDK 1.6 and 1.7 and 1.8, if you guys are from the future, you have access to the JavaScript engine, and it's really simple to use. It's ridiculously simple. So let me show you guys how to do this. So we're going to be using a script engine manager, right? So we're going to type in script engine manager, and then you just want to give it a random name, something like SEM. SEM is equal to new script engine manager. So what we've done here is we've just created an object of the script engine manager class, and you want to add the import for it. Okay, there we go. The next thing we need to do is we need to define what engine we want to use. Now, what scripting engine we want to use, and I'm going to use JavaScript. So I'm going to say script engine, and I just give it a random name, SE, is equal to SEM dot get engine by name, and it's already recommended by Netbeans, get engine by name. And then in here you want to specify the name of the engine that you want to use. So I want to use JavaScript, okay. Sorry about that, I made a mistake there. And then obviously you have to add the import for script engine. There we go. I'm sorry if the mic is picking up a lot of background noise. It's really hot in Durban, South Africa. And firstly, no, I don't have lions as pets. I have a cat. I don't know if that counts. But it is really hot. My fan's on in the background. The microphone picks up like everything. So, okay, now that we have that, we need to make try and catch, because sometimes this can fail. Depending on what the user types, it can fail. Keep in mind, because if some idiot tries to enter the letter H or the letter T, it's going to fail. So what try and catch does is it basically tries a bit of code, and if it doesn't work, it catches an exception. So exception E, right? We just get a random variable name. Now, exception basically means an error. It's basically an error, right? So if you enter the letter H and then you try to ask the script manager to calculate your string, it's going to throw an exception. Okay, so try and catch. It's pretty simple. You try a piece of code. If the code fails, keep in mind you can only do try and catch with code that can actually fail. Something like connecting to the internet. If you don't have an internet connection, what's going to happen? Do you want your program to crash and make you look like a stupid developer, or do you want to make your code look like the person who's using it is an idiot? Because I mean, that's what us as developers want to happen. If the user does something stupid, we want to let them know that, hey, you did something stupid, and not look like idiots ourselves by not providing error messages. So that's what try and catch does. Tries a piece of code. If it doesn't work for whatever reason, it catches an error, and then you can simply output this error. So if you type in S out and you press tab, you get system.out.println, which is really cool. So you can type in error. Let's just type in error as a string, and then let's type in +E. So what this does is it's going to print out an error, and it's firstly going to say error with those double colons, and then keep in mind exception E. E is just a variable, so whenever the error happens, it gets stored in this variable called E, and then you can print out whatever error it is in this E. So obviously you guys can debug your code with system.out.println and try and catch. So in this try, what we want to do is we want to evaluate our string. So we're going to say se.eval, short for evaluate, and then we need to provide a string. So what string do we want to provide? Well, it's pretty obvious what we want to provide. We want to provide whatever text is in this display field. So in order to do that, we're going to say display.getText. That's it. We're done. But unfortunately, we're not really done. This exception could be a little bit more detailed. We could say script exception, I guess. Yep, there we go. So script exception, that makes it more detailed. Now, okay, so we got se.eval, and then the string we want to evaluate. Evaluation basically means you're going to process it, see what you need to be done, and then it does, right? So once you have that, you can put it in the display. You can set the text field again. Unfortunately, I don't want to put another variable, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say display.setText at the beginning of this evaluation, and then just put brackets all around it. And now keep in mind, display is a string. se.evaluate is not a string, it's actually a double. So in order to change it from a double to a string, just type in toString, that's it. Or you can type in plus empty string, and that is it. Now what error do we have? Object cannot be, okay. So you don't want to do it after .getText. Obviously you want to do it after the whole thing. I actually didn't see that right there. There you go. So there we have it. Let's just go over this really quickly again. Firstly, what we've done is we've evaluated our string, okay? Secondly, what we've done is we've converted the string. Remember, se.evaluate becomes a double, right? It converts your string into a double, processes the code, and then returns a double. So this bit right here is actually a double or a floating point number or an integer or whatever it may be. Then we convert it to a string, okay? And then we simply set everything into .setText. I did it in one step because I felt like it. I'm a boss. I did it in one step. So now when we run our code, type in 8 times 9, 72. Perfect. It looks great. We even have the 0.0 at the end because we are using a double, like I said. Now, what does double actually mean? Well, double is, how can I explain this? I don't want to go into too much detail because it's a bit, it's got to do with the bits and stuff. But basically, think of it like this: an integer is a whole number, right? 8 is a whole number. 8.0 is a double because it has a decimal point. So 8.3 is a double. You see, if you use 8.3 and convert it to an integer, you'll get the number 8. So that's why it returns a double, because if you type in 8 divided by 7, you didn't get 1.14. And we ran out of space. So you guys can do math.round and then round it off and stuff. So anyways, this is some sort of calculator you guys will see on any tutorial on the internet. However, they will take 4 tutorials or 5 tutorials or 2 or 3 or whatever it may be. We did it in 2 tutorials, and our code was really simple. It's a simple calculator, so we kept the code as simple as possible, and we even made our own custom design and everything. So their calculator, what you guys will find on the internet, will be 9 times 8. Okay, now let's say you want to do 9 times 8 plus 2. So 9 times 8 is 72. Then you'll have to go plus 2. Our calculator doesn't have to do that. We can clear all. 9 times 8 plus 2. It does the BODMAS or BIDMAS or BOMDAS or whatever the hell it's called. If you click on equals 74, there we go, done. Now you look like a real boss. Now you can show them, you know what, you outdid the teacher, not me. You outdid that guy who made the other tutorial. I mean, come on, I taught you guys. So you can do, I mean, as long as string is you want, 9 times 8, you can do something stupid, and that answer's most definitely right. So let's just test it out. I have my engineering calculator right here, Casio some FX calculator. So we're going to say 96 times 6, okay? We're going to use all the operand here. 96 times 6 divided by 5 plus 6 minus 2. We got 119.2, okay? So let's do this. 96 times 6 divided by 5 plus 6 minus 2. That should give us 119.2, and it does. Look at that. So what this script does is that it allows you to actually create more complex examples. And what's fantastic about it is that this JavaScript engine has the BODMAS, whatever it's called. I don't know what you guys call it. I call it BODMAS, brackets of division, multiplication, addition, subtraction. It has that already implemented into it. So it already detects that 8 times 9 takes a higher priority than 9 plus 6. So it does 8 times 9 first, then it adds 6 to it, which is great because you don't have to have the brackets on your calculator. So, I mean, what you can do is you can make a scientific calculator. You guys can add a button to expand this, have cosine, tan, the hypotenuse. You guys can start calculating much more fun stuff other than 8 times 9, 72, and I mean, it's great. It's great. So, yeah, so that's the tutorial. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm sorry about being so delayed. I was on holiday, like I said. But yeah, hope you guys did enjoy the tutorial. If you did, please don't forget to leave us a comment, like, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. We have a lot more app development tutorials coming up. We got Android apps coming up. I mean, we got a whole host of stuff. And if you guys want to keep up to date with some of my pages, my Project Javas page, you guys can follow my page in the description. If you guys need help, send me an email. Once again, description. Everything I'm mentioning now will be in the description. So Facebook, Twitter. If you guys want instant messaging, I suggest messaging me on Facebook because I get the alerts on my phone. If you guys do need help, I'm on there, Facebook, Twitter. What else is there? So obviously, if you guys want to email me, you can. My email is in the description along with my website. Well, my email will be on my website, so you guys can just visit the contact us page. If you guys like this wallpaper, which Daniel did for me, we got 3 more other wallpapers. If you guys want it, you guys can go download it off my website gallery. You guys can check out some of the other cool stuff there. So anyways, I'm going to sign out right now, and I hope you guys have a fantastic 2014. So I'll see you guys a bit later.